don't count out Casey Drake in that 87. He's right.
One more lap to go here at Indy. He ran him all the way from 3 seconds back. 2 laps to go. Oh, Aldo gets spun. Oh, Matthew gets the apron around the Strexler. He spins right from the back. Huge wreck. The 2 flies up in the air. It's 3 wide. Oh, what a move by Derek. He wants to go.
Tries to send him up the hill, but can't quite do it.
Now between the 2 is 2 car lengths. Too little, too late for Derek and Smith. Oh, clapping gets third. Clapping gets third. Oh my gosh. Side by side. 3 wide at the wire. Welcome everybody here live for the iSCAR Open Wheel Tour presented to you by MaxspeedTV. Getting ourselves set at the Okayama International Circuit for this big upcoming race of Skip Barbers we're going to host here tonight. I'm glad you could join us in. My name is Ezekiel Reyes.
And I'm Dewey Schramm. Welcome to the broadcast.
It'll be a fun one here for tonight as we get ourselves up for 20 laps, which is fairly lengthy. Because we're running the full course version of this track, which adds, I don't know how much miles it adds, but it's a lengthy portion you see right there in the top of your screen that running with the full course. But either way, we'll dive into the broadcast and take a look around at how all these drivers are performing out here. I'm gonna go ahead and show our top 3, and you see some familiar names up there. Christopher Wheel, of course, he runs iSCAR Weekly, just about Keen M Rally. I know he's a road racer. That number 62 put it in victory lane last season in the iSCAR Truck Series. And of course, Anthony Burrows in the 162. Basically known for running everywhere on road.
Yeah, and you mentioned this version of the track being lengthier, and with the speeds that these Skip Barbers have, they're a lot slower than most of the other cars on the iRacing service.
Right.
So even though this is only a 20-lap race, you know, numbers can be deceiving, because even though 20, you'd look at that and say, oh, well, that's not that many laps. With the type of track this is and the type of cars we are, that's going to be a pretty lengthy race overall.
Alright, definitely. That means this race should take about at least 30 minutes to get done, which is honestly pretty lengthy for a Skip Barber race, because this is a D-class car on the official side of things. Take a look at that. I think that's Garrett Hess in the 86 right behind him. I think that's Logan Clampett in the 44. Yes, it is. Logan running here tonight. I'm glad to see him out on the racetrack running other than NASCAR on the side of things, I guess.
Yeah, our friend from the Coca-Cola series, good to see him here returning for his occasional iSCAR start, as we like to cheer him on every Tuesday when that series runs. So be sure to check that series out and root for him when he does race.
On top of the board, just about, I think, yeah, just about a minute remaining in practice. That number 41 of Christopher Wheel. Nearly won last night in the iSCAR Sports Car Championship, but unfortunately got caught up in a bit of skirmish there on off of pit road, and that ended his day. And that 41 ended up, I don't know, finishing, I don't know where overall, but it was like 27th overall.
I believe he was 7th or 8th in class.
Right.
Something like that.
Luckily, he's fastest again here. Gets himself down this portion of the track, which is turn 7. Himself down another straightaway. This track offers a lot of straightaways, and this Skip Barber car punches a hole through the air that's very big, and slower speeds, of course, make drafting even more prevalent. So I'm interested to see on how these drivers will perform out here tonight.
As practice winds itself down, just about 10 seconds left. So it looks like Christopher Weil will be your fastest driver in practice. So we'll have to see if he can keep that up in qualifying, or if we'll see somebody else potentially get up front in front of him.
Practice hits the double zeros, and Christopher wins the practice. We're going to scoot ourselves to the side, play the national anthem. Rise up, remove our hats as we salute America's colors. I welcome y'all back here live at the for the iSCAR Open Wheel Tour, round number 1 out of 6. Getting ourselves set to go green here just momentarily as drivers go ahead and log in their fastest 2 of this qualifying session. Go ahead and pull up standings here right in front of your screen. Currently, no driver has logged in at 1 lap. Still seeing some drivers out on the racetrack whip themselves through, and might as well get an onboard of how these drivers roam throughout the racetrack. I'll be your guide throughout as hopefully find there it is, the roll bar. Actually, I like the gyro cam. Take it. There you go, helmet cam right there. So on board with Kian M. Rallig, heads himself down this long straightaway. There's the front stretch. The start finish line is right there. Hard braking into turn number 1, just a sweeping right-hander. Good. Track it very early, right up off, and get yourself to the right side for the left-hander. This is turn number 2. For the elevation change, not pretty much, but this is around, I think this is turn 3 right here. Straightforward turn. I wouldn't even call that a turn because you're mostly going straight, but here's a hard braking zone into turn number 4. Wheel turned at 90 degrees and an uphill onto this back straightaway, which is a long straightaway. I'm expecting a lot of drivers to attempt to break the draft left and right. So this should be interesting to watch.
Yeah, the straightaways, you might expect to see something like you do in an IndyCar race where the cars will just weave back and forth down the straightaway trying to break as much of the draft as they can.
Right.
Well,
that was through turn 5 and turn 6. Another downhill elevation change. It's left-hander turn 7. Another straightaway right here. More drivers could draft off, and a hard braking zone into turn number 8. Look how Kian drives it deep into the corner. Get uphill into turn number 9. These final 2 corners are crucial. Turn 10 right here. Didn't hit the curbing. Wanted to get as much momentum and take it all the way to the front stretch. Here's the front stretch. Off under the signs. That will complete you a lap. Here at Okayama, across the start-finish line, and Kian actually is going to be his fastest lap as of right now, but he could log in 1 more. Connor Brandon in the 92. Out on the racetrack as well. Charlie Byer in the 7. You see him at himself. I think this is turn number 4. There's Logan Clampett, of course. Our Racing Coca-Cola Series driver. They're on the Skip Barber side. trying something different as he uses the rumble strips to his advantage. Heads himself down the long back straightaway. There's Jackson Menchu, our GTE winner, just yesterday in the iSCAR Sports Car Championship.
Yeah, Jackson off to a very strong start in his summer series with that win last night, so I'm sure he has a lot of momentum coming into tonight and for the rest of the season. So glad to see a guy like Jackson, who a lot of people may not think of as a good road driver, potentially proving some people wrong here and putting his foot down as a pretty good road racing driver.
Right, of course, I know Jackson has some real-life experience with go-karts as well, so no surprise to see him qualify very well here in an open-wheel car. Joe Berge, currently sitting 10th right now. Garrett Hess in the number 86. William Schmidt. Lots of these drivers are usually stock car drivers, so they're trying to get their trying to adapt as best as they can. Log their fastest too. Of course, you only had 30 minutes of practice to log in a fast one, so interested to see on how everybody adapts here. Get ourselves set for 20 laps, which is pretty lengthy. Colton Lights, the off track, as well as Nick Roten. Nick making his first start here in the iSCAR Racing Series, as well as Cade McKee. I mean, not Cade McKee. Cade's been running this series for a darn while. I don't know when he first joined in.
Yeah, Cade's been around this neck of the woods for quite some time, so good to see him come back for another season and competing for more wins.
Burrows heads himself to the front straightaway and will complete his most likely second lap. He will be in stuff across, and that'll be first. Anthony Burrows to the top of the board, and how about Logan Clampett in that 44? I know Clampett has a lot of I rating. He farms off of a Mazda 24/7, of course. So we'll pull up his YAG stats of 8,200 on road, but of course that's only because he farms a lot of Mazdas and such.
Well, the man does race the Coca-Cola series. I think he does know what he's doing around a racetrack.
Right, definitely. Yeah, the best kind of driver is driver who has all sorts of talent on all types of cars and such, open wheel or not, fixed or open.
A very well-rounded individual.
Right. Eloa Hankins, himself out on the racetrack, is yet to log in a lap. Still has the time to, but he can't bin this lap or else his lap won't count. This is his only shot to get in at least one lap.
I think he's slowing down, unless it's just a really.
Yeah, I think it's just
the car's just that slow.
Yeah.
Jeez, it looked like he was slowing down coming down the straightaway. I'm like, what is he doing?
Yeah, you're only take a look at the what you call it, the mile per hour gauge there. Middle of the banner. You're only running at max, maybe at 100 miles per hour. Gets himself through, gets it down to 70, 60, 40. Pick it back the throttle. Look around, I'm not sure. Oh, here's Corey H. Hart. He's on the biggest straightaway, so he's 106, 107, 108. Yeah, just 108 into this corner, and I think this is turn 5.
I could hit that on the freeway near my house. Don't do that though. That is not an advocation for speeding on a freeway. Don't do that. Here, though, it is perfectly legal, as we see Kaloa make his way towards the finish line here.
Yeah, he looks like that lap didn't count for him, so unfortunately for Kaloa, it takes nearly 2 minutes to log in at least one lap. Kaloa is unfortunately not going to be qualifying, but even if he did qualify, he'd only be around, like, I guess, at least 20th. Would it really hurt too much?
You see a lot of the guys on the leaderboard haven't actually taken a lap yet either. At least 5 or 6 drivers looks like they have not either taken a time or had their time disallowed for some reason. So Colo definitely, if he cannot complete a lap here, will not be the only one in that position. So
Right.
it may not be all that bad if he doesn't get a lap down.
Right. Take a look at our weather here for tonight. Dewey Shram, go ahead and take us through.
Meteorologist Dewey Schramm with your race day forecast at Okayama. Our air temperature is 87 degrees. It's a toasty one here. The humidity, it's pretty dry, only 1% humidity here in Japan. Our winds are coming out of the west at just about 8 miles per hour, and the track temperature is 116 degrees. That's a scorcher. Expect a lot of rubber to be put down early and often, and a partly cloudy sky, pristine racing conditions.
Thank you, Dewey, and getting ourselves set up. The grid is going to be shown right in front of your screen. Congratulations to the 162 for picking up the pole. That would be Anthony Burrows in that 162. Right alongside of him, Logan Clampett.
And in row number 2, we've got Kian M. Rally in the 62, and to his outside, Aaron Galloway in the 33.
Top 5 going to be rounded out here. Row number 3 is going to be Christopher Wheel and Charlie Byer. The rest of the order is going to be shown on your screen because we got to get ourselves through. Get ourselves set for this green flag here just momentarily. Glad you could join us in for tonight's broadcast as we get ourselves set up here live on MaxspeedTV. 20 laps, a total of 35 minutes of racing going to be logged in for this one. All sorts of drivers getting themselves set up, turn those engines on, and rev them all up. Now, anticipation is building. Get ourselves set. The only person who needs the grid is that number 41, a Christopher Wheel. Probably change the fuel because again, this is open set. So. Just waiting for that 41 to grid, and yes, he is on the grid. Here he goes. Lights are out. Of course, there ain't no pace car. Standing start.
Green's out.
Green.
Green.
We're up and away here at Okayama. Drivers fanning 3 wide, maybe even 4 wide into the back. Head themselves into 1. All eyes on that Anthony Burrows machine as he scoots himself through. Everybody clean through the top 5. Maybe through the top 10 even. Trying to get into a pace and rhythm. All those drivers in the back trying to get themselves out of harm's way, but in the meantime, oh, Clampett might have off-tracked it there right up off the corner. Head ourselves down the back straightaway. Grayson Trexler with a bit of problems, unfortunately.
Looks like he's just going to tow it away or retire. Is not a good start for him, but Burrows continues to lead, but we have a car to his inside here. That's coming down this next straightaway.
Here comes Clampett. He's going to have a bit of help from the 62, Kian Rally Gowell. Kim M. Rally, excuse me. I know he changed his name on iRacing. He's going to take it 3 into this corner. I don't know what this corner is. This is looked to be turn number 5. Logan taking the defensive line. He scoots himself through, and he retains the lead. They're going to be side by side for a second. They got to get themselves single file, so they could get them. So they could start pulling away from the pack, because you'll start to see a trend of a pack of cars start to pull away with this draft. Look at all the scrambling going on in the rear, in the middle portion of the racetrack, guys. That's Trey Shuttlesworth. He's side by side with a teammate of his. That's the 92, Connor Brandon.
Yeah, Connor looks to be potentially losing a couple spots here, but he's still side by side with Trey, and that is the 9 of Jackson Menchu, our GTE winner from last night, as Trelly goes a little off-roading right there out of that turn. As Clampett continues to pace the field here to complete our first lap, and he goes into the dirt, holds on to it.
Here comes Burrows. I don't know who's going to lead it at the line, but Brian knows it's going to be Burrows as Clampett's trying to pinch as much as he can. Oh, there's contact between the two. Clampett goes off track.
And I believe he again kept it off the wall, and what a save right there.
That was the 119 of Trey Shuttlesworth, who got dead sideways off of 1. Luckily for Clampett, he still has the draft he could rely on, but definitely lost a lot of time. Might have worn out those tires a bit by going off track. To the inside goes the 9 of Menchu. He wanted to peek forward, but never minded that. How about Liam Sheen? He's working himself through. Oh, 1 car's around.
Cade McKee goes off the bumper of, I'm not sure who that was, but this will definitely set Cade back a while, so he'll have to get going quickly.
Looks like it was a 7 of Charlie Byer he spun off of. Gets himself back going, but unfortunately lost a lot of time there. All eyes are on that number 162 of Anthony Burrows, excuse me, as he tries to pull away from the 62 of Keen M. Raleigh. Looks like it's just going to be a 5-car pull away, and you go all the way back to 6th place of Connor Brennan in this 92. And he sort of wanted to pull away as well, as he has met Jackson Menchu. That's Liam Sheen. They're going to go side by side as Charlie Byer wants to take a peek around as well. Still a lot of racing left. Fortunately, we eliminated a couple of drivers off that first lap. Look at that. We were just talking about it, Dewey, breaking the draft right there.
Whoa!
Man, I do not know who that car.
Someone almost goes into the tires back there. That was a really close call.
The 42, Nick Roten, of course, making his iSCAR debut. Just about overshot the corner. Luckily, kept it off the wall. Take a look around and see the battle. Oh man, one car off track. That's Liam Sheen, as well as the car right behind him. That's Trey Shuttlesworth. Man, cars are shuffling left and right and such.
Feels like we've already run 5 or 10 laps, but in reality, we've only run 2 so far. So, a very slow race despite all these guys being in the draft of each other. So, even if you make a mistake, there's a lot more time to potentially gain positions back than you may realize.
Definitely. We look at this top 2 of Anthony Burrows and Keem and Raleigh. They are close to each other. We might have a battle for the lead here in just a moment, because I know these two are fairly close to each other. Burrows and Kean. Boy, I don't know. Hard to tell off that camera angle who got the run or not. Take a look at that. Working himself back forward. That's the 44 Clampett. He works himself to the inside. Great pass right there around the number 33 of Aaron Galloway, who's one of the rookies here tonight, trying to make a name for himself in the iSCAR Racing Series. Haven't really talked about him. There he is, currently running in, looks like to be 4th place now.
Yeah, 4th is where Aaron qualified, so definitely a strong debut up to this point. So even being passed by Clampett, still right in contention with him and the 41 of Weil right behind him. So even despite losing a position, still a pretty solid run so far for that 33.
Puts himself to the inside, trying to pass the 44 Clampett. He's going to shove it into the corner, just about got dead sideways. Still have a lot of laps left. You don't want to scrub your tires too much. Take a look at the back. One car nearly off track. That was Jackson Menchu, as he's duking it out with one of the Prox guys. That's Connor Brandon in the 92. Yeah, you're now seeing pods of 3, pods of 2, and a big gaggle right behind. I don't know who this car is. I think this might be the 83 of Joe Berge. Working himself around. That's the car right behind him, 189 of Colton Lights, who is on a PPM car. You also see another PPM car right behind. That's the 57 of Corey H. Hartz. All these cars starting to fan out, but still has a partner. All these drivers still have a partner to battle out with, including that 162 of Anthony Burrows, who's in the lead. To the inside goes Kean, attempting to take position, but unfortunately, this is a right-hander. Didn't get the run there. Nice run off the exit. Worked themselves into this sweeping, I don't know what turn this is. Turn number 10 in, off turn number 11, the final corner. Burrows cross the start-finish line. That gap is still fairly close. Look at the look at the draft breaking right behind. All these drivers just weaving left and right. Connor Brandon trying to shake off Jackson Menchu as Liam Sheen tries to shake off Trey Shuttlesworth. Oh!
Whoa!
Oh, and around goes the 92 of Connor. He's going to be stuck in the middle of the racetrack, and unfortunately, I see a broken right front. That might end his day, and Connor was running inside that top 10. He's going to be finishing most likely in last place.
He goes. That's really too bad. Connor was having a really good run so far, but looks to be the end of that.
And we'll see what happened here on the MaxspeedTV replay. As, man, he was duking it out with the number 9 of Jackson Menchu. And Connor, oh, just might have overshot it just a bit too much. And you see the rear end step out right there, try to overcorrect it, but bang! Hit the outside tire barrier. And it shot his car across the track. And you see that right front, unfortunately, he just couldn't turn it, and Connor is done for.
Still a great battle for the lead here, and I think Burrows might have just gotten into Kean right there just a little bit. The 62 and the 162. Right in line. Looks like Kean's pulled away just a little bit coming out of the last turn. As we're coming up on just 15 laps to go, so about a fourth of the way through so far. And you see Clampett right behind those two in third.
Clampett slowly catching this draft off this top 3. He's getting closer. Of course, he got booted off track in that first turn after he made contact there with, I think it was Anthony Burrows for that lead, but Clampett slowly regaining some ground when he put himself forward yet again. Talk about some more drivers. There's William Schmidt in the 79. He's trying to get himself going. Side-by-side action right behind for this top 10. Joe Burgee finds himself outside of it. He's trying to pull a crossover on the 57 to Corey H. Hartz. He moves himself to the inside. They're going to go side-by-side down this long straightaway. A lot of drivers breaking the draft, though, so see some hard runs. So here you go.
Yeah, that group of 3 right behind Burgee and Hartz making some big moves down the straightaway. So that's Garrett Hess, one of those guys.
Oh, contact!
No!
Man, I don't know if that'll gives not Burgee, but Hess some suspension damage. But we'll have to see on that replay again. One of those drivers just trying to scoot themselves to the inside, and look to be the 16 of Carl Faust. Try to shove it in, but unfortunately just locked it up.
Nothing Garrett Hess could do at all in that pink car as he gets forced into the gravel area. So we'll have to see how much damage Garrett got and if it'll be potentially race ending or not. But unfortunate either way, as they were both having pretty decent runs.
A lot of time left. Clampett, 44. Right behind him is Christopher Wheel. So 4th place currently. It's Menchu, the 9. Right behind him, that's Aaron Galloway at number 33. On board with him as he heads himself through the couple of corners. Watching this battle for 7th place, as requested, the 119 of Trey Shuttlesworth. Trying to fend off the 13 of Liam Sheen. To the inside goes Sheen. I know Sheen, road course racer. Pulls himself to the inside. We'll see if he locks it up like Carl Faust did. No, he does not. Look at that wide arc that the 119 of Shuttlesworth had. He kept himself side by side with Sheen. He clears him off right up off the corner. I don't know what turn this is. Looks like this is turn 7 they're coming off of right now.
Yeah, passing here can be a bit tricky, especially in turns like that, because even though Liam got the run out of the inside, Trey ended up with the preferred line into the next turn. So even if you manage to get your nose underneath into one turn, you've really got to put in some work to actually get the pass, or else you'll end up right behind them once again.
Right. Ellsworth's trying to pull away from Sheen now. There's William Schmidt, sort of on an island of his own. That's Corey H. Hart, PPM Machine. But up front still, this top 2 are fairly close. Keem and Raleigh And Anthony Burrows trying to pull away from Logan Clampett in the 44, who still has on his backside the number 41 Christopher Wheel. You mentioned how slow these cars are, and if you do get booted off track, it takes a while to get them back up to speed, and one small mistake maybe cost you the race. We still have a lot of racing left, still 13 laps to go, about 20 minutes of racing remaining here. Keem M. Rally attempts to pull away from Anthony Burrows.
Yeah, still another few laps to halfway, so time's starting to run down just a little bit, but still enough to potentially make a late race charge towards the front. So even if you're a little farther back here, not all hope is lost for even Clampett in third, even though he finds himself, looks like 4 or 5 seconds back of those 2 leaders.
Gained a bit of time that last lap across the start-finish line. I think since these top 2 are grouped up, they have their draft they could rely off of, especially for Anthony Burrows. For that 62, if these drivers are running the same pace as each other, that leader is just a sitting duck on straightaways. So, the move could be made on the white, and Anthony Burrows might just be waiting to pull out there once the time comes around.
Of course, a good strategy would be to wait like that and make your move when the other person won't be able to make it back. But of course, you still have to make sure you hit your marks in the meantime so you don't end up losing too much ground in these next 11 laps, where when you're on the white flag, you're not in range to potentially make that move. So it's good to be able to strategize and plan out what you might want to do, but not at the expense of just typical racing stuff, so you don't end up, you know, putting yourself in a position where you can't do what you've strategized to do.
Right. I guess it all boils down to that final lap and where everybody stands. As you saw there, the 162, Anthony Burrows step out sideways. I think that was quarter number 2 that he did, but man, the more you start scrubbing those tires, the more they're just going to start wearing off. You got to conserve as much as you can, and Logan is still coming up, but he's still 2 seconds back of where this top 2 are running right now. Take a scroll back all the way to the top 5. Whoa, Galloway! Just about
save.
got a 1X.
That could have been a lot worse than it was, though. That was a good job of him keeping it off the wall and mostly on the track, because that could have been a disaster.
All right, trying to chase down the 9 Jackson Menchu, and he lost a lot of time because that one hiccup. And he get himself back into pace once he sniffs off the draft of Menchu. He right behind. That's Trey Shuttlesworth in the 119. He's there, as well as the number 13, Liam Sheen. Looking right behind the draft being broken there by the 57 of Corey H. Hart, trying to shake off the 83 of Joe Burgee, who's getting attacked by the 27 of Cade McKee to the inside for this 10th spot. Close racing.
Looks like there might have been a bit of wheel-to-wheel contact in the middle of that turn, but no worse for wear for either of those, as they're still side-by-side coming out of that turn.
All right, the last thing you want to make is contact with another car, because you could definitely break your suspension here, especially with this new damage model. This new damage model changes the game, I guess, just a bit, contact-wise. You can still rub and push and shove as much as you did the previous time before this build came around for the new damage model, but you still don't want to make contact either way. There's Berge. The inside, got to clear Cade. Right off. Cade right up to his rear end. Where is he going to go? In or out? Only one groove through this area. Maybe wants to peek inside. Berge a bit slow through that corner. Oh, he got sideways.
I was going to say, Berge did a good job of taking Cade's line away going into that left-hander, but just about lost it right there and managed to cut him off right there. So Berge doing a good job so far of holding that 27 car off, but Cade might be getting a little impatient with that after a while.
Right, definitely. Go on board on board with Cade McKee as he's attempting to whip around the 83 of Burgee, who sweeps it at the corner. Look how sideways that 83 stepped out. He's gonna peek it to the high side. What a move to squeeze that 27. And he cleared him right off. Joe has to slide in right behind and take a look at that. Another car is gonna.
Here comes Burgee again.
Walk into the mix, and Burgee to the low side. Oh, he spun it!
Oh no!
Oh, what a save!
Cade will finally get the position, but looks like Burgee's going to lose that spot to the 72 of Chloe Hankins and potentially could be under fire from the car behind him as well. Not sure who that is, but
That's not Kilo Hankins, that's
Carl
Carl Faust. That's right. And for the lead!
Burrows finally got by him. As we're about, I think Burrows might have got through the grass right there a little bit, but we're coming up to the halfway point in this race, so the time is now to start making a charge to the front, because if you wait any longer, you won't leave yourself enough time to do so. But a nice pass by Burrows to finally get himself by that 62.
It's not the camera I expected to click on. Burrows is slowly starting to pull away from Kean. I'd had those tires cooled down. Because he was running behind that 62 for a while. Now that top three is separated evenly through each other, and Burrows is now starting to hit the go pedal and wanting to pull away from the 62.
Yeah, the top three has remained pretty much unchanged throughout the entire race, just a matter of where in the top three they are, as these three have been the class of the field up to this point. And it looks like you said, Burrow's starting to pull right away from that 62, and if Kean can't make up any ground now, that might be the race.
So as the draft, you can rely upon their long straightaways that this track provides. Lots of passing room. Still have, I guess, 15 minutes of racing remaining from this point forward, and take a look around, see where all these other drivers were running. We haven't talked about the other half of the field. Talked about Garrett Hess, Charlie Byer. 7, you see Colton Lights there, and that's Nick Roten in the 42 right behind him. That's Ryan Kwan. Haven't really talked about him. Carl Faust, of course. Oh, he's actually on pit road, so only looks like 18 cars out on the racetrack. As you see Keaton cross the start-finish line. He's fortunately missing a rear wing. Whoa, man, wheel stepped out right up off the corner. He got his rear end into the rumble strips, and that car just about stepped out, luckily keeping itself on track, and still in 4th place. Has nobody to really race with. Looks like he's just going to run in 4th, unless this top 3 has some sort of problem.
Much calmer race now than what we started with, as since we're over halfway through, a lot of the field is spread out for the most part, so I guess not as much to really talk about now, other than these guys can pretty much just run their own race from now up to the finish unless they really want some more spots bad enough.
Ooh. Trey Shuttlesworth doing a bit of off-tracking right there as he overshot the corner, trying to sneak up on that number 33 of Aaron Galloway. Getting on board with Shuttlesworth. Here as he scoots himself to the inside, here he comes for this 6th spot. These two side by side. Liam Sheen could go ahead and sneak up on these two. Maybe make it a 3-car battle. Looking right behind, some battles going on right behind. That's Cade McKee and looks like William Schmidt trying to make something happen. Schmidt sniffing off the 27. Might have made a bit of contact entering that corner. Schmidt's going to drive it to the low side. Maybe a crossover right here. Well, can't really pull a crossover there, but Cade's definitely putting the pressure. Wow!
Whoa. That was a close call, but Good job by William to get that spot in the same spot on the track that Cade lost the spot to Joe Burgee a few laps prior. So Cade potentially has a weak spot on this track, and it might be in that turn. So if any other guys behind him can catch up, they might be able to use that to their advantage and know when to try and make a move on him.
Yeah, that would be turn number 7 that Cade's having a bit of problem. Or turn number 6 and 7 that Cade is struggling with. Fighting out with William Schmidt. Mentioned the couple two right in front. They're duking it out. We're going to have a 3-car battle here for the 6th position as Trey Shuttlesworth is attempting to go ahead and pull away. But meanwhile up front, this battle for the lead is also heating up. This top 3 are all within a 10th of each other.
Actually, Kean's gotten back by Anthony Burrows for that lead spot, so especially now that Kean's back ahead, Anthony's got to figure out how he's going to make that move once again, and he might be trying to set it up to do it right here.
Here he goes to the low side. Clamp is going to follow in pursuit, and side by side into this deep braking zone. Who's going to get the better of it? Oh, so close, but Burrows is going to have the spot, most likely into this left-hander, turn 6. And look at Clampett. He's going to drive it to the bottom side of the racetrack. Clampett making up a full second, getting himself forward, but oh, so close right up off the corner as Kean slots in right behind that 44.
As Clampett can now try and set his sights on the 44, the 62, the 162 of Burrows here, coming towards the finish line shortly. So with just coming to 6 laps to go, this might be the race-winning move right here if any of these guys can make it.
Clampett has yet to lead at least 1 lap in this race. Get themselves right up off the corner. And actually, he did lead at least 1 lap. Clampett has made himself into 2nd, though.
Yeah, these top 3 have led them all so far, so these 3 have been, like we said before, just the class of the field here tonight. Nobody's really gotten close to them besides those 3, so at this point in the race, I would imagine it'll be one of these 3 guys that'll take the checkered flag here.
Clampett doing a bit more off-tracking right there as he's trying to sniff off the draft. But that 162 down into here in this big braking zone of turn 4. You can see those rear ends starting to step out. Clampett going to out-track it just a bit more. As Burrows is going with a more defensive line, but a long straightaway right here. Clampett can go ahead and pull out and make a move. Here he goes to the inside.
Looks like Burrows is actually going to stay behind Rally here into the turn, so no opportunity for any sort of draft right there, but Clampett also shuts the door on Burrows coming into this next turn, so Clampett goes just a bit wide, but no worse for wear, is trying his best to hold off that 162.
What a recovery by that number 44. Was off-tracking in turn 1 in the first 5 laps. Has now retained the lead. That number 44 trying to pull away ahead of that 162 and 62 of Kean M. Ralligan, Anthony Burrows, but Clampett doing a nice job in being defensive, but Burrows is putting the pressure. Now, if these top 3 have some sort of issue, that number 41 of Christopher Wheel is peeking in the mix. And Clampett's going to break the draft all the way to the inside while protecting as much as it can into 1.
I think Burrows might try to pass up high. They're side by side into turn 1. We're going to see if Burrows can try to make a move, but Clampett just a much stronger arc through the turn, so not quite yet for that 162 as he's trying anything to get by that 44 now.
That was a very dangerous move by Burrows. He opened up the door there for the 62 of Kean just a bit, but luckily he was clear down into that first corner. But here we go, another hard braking zone, using up as much racetrack as they can. Clampett doing a nice job of being defensive, and here comes the long straightaway in the 5. Who will take the run where? I think Burrows. Oh, look at that. Clampett's going to protect down low. I think he's going to force Burrows up high, unless Burrows can get the run right up off of this corner.
Looks like Kean's just staying right in the middle of them, so not really trying to help either of them in the draft, but let's see if Burrows can stay side by side coming into the next turn, because that left-hander will be the preferred line for that 162, and here he comes.
Yep, that was, man, what a great move by Burrows to put himself on the high side, and he stuck it as well, as Clampett is also still side by side. Great battle up front as Clampett's starting to pull ahead, but Burrows has the preferred line into this corner. Oh, so
Clampett goes
close.
wide.
And they're still side by side. Kean is sort of watching in the distance as he's trying to find a ways around both of these people.
I think Kean might have to wait for either of these guys to potentially take the other one out, because as long as these guys are side by side, it's very dangerous to go 3 wide at a track like this. So with the way those front two are racing, I think Kean might end up having to wait for a potential mistake from one of those top 2 guys.
Now what Clampett did there, entering that right-hand sweeper, I think that was the final 2 corner. That was turn number 10. He let Burrows by to maybe sniff a draft off the front stretch, and here he comes to the inside. Clampett again, gunning for that lead. But Burrows is being strong. He has the preferred line into this corner. So close. You can see all 3 of these guys' rear ends just stepping out.
Yeah, it's kind of appropriate that we're in Japan, because these guys are almost Tokyo drifting through every single turn we've got on this track. As Clampett once again, and now Kean looks to have gotten second from Burrows here. So this could be Kean's final charge up to the front, as he now finds himself up in that second spot.
Now Burrows slipped up there, and now Kean retains second, but it's a matter on how he's going to pass that 44 Clampett. Here we go into turn number 5. I don't think Kean's is close enough to maybe sneak himself to the low side. Never mind, he's going to drive it in. He locked it up. Oh, he got loose into the corner, but Clampett has the preferred line into turn number 6. Oh, the contact!
Oh, no!
Around goes Burrows, around goes Kean, and the second and third are in trouble. And
Kean's rear wing is gone as well. That's going to really affect him aerodynamically. Now you see Christopher Weil will put himself up into third with that mishap for those top 2. So I was just talking about Kean potentially hoping for a mistake from one of the top 2, and he ended up in that mistake, unfortunately. So
wow.
I think Clampett might have just been handed this race victory.
But he's still, I don't know. Oh yeah, it looks like it's 3 seconds, the gap between Clampett and Burrows now. 3 laps to go. Man, that sucks, but my goodness, it was a great battle from that point forward. I mean,
yeah, Burrows got into the back of Kean, but I'm not sure what precipitated that. But when Kean went into the gravel, Burrows slid through the grass as well. So Burrows definitely lost a lot of time, even if he doesn't have any engine damage. So I think, like I said, Clampett might be just running away with this one at this point. So we'll have to take a look and see what precipitated that. Is it unfortunately ended what had been a really, really great battle to watch.
Look at it again. Clampett. Oh. Well, I don't know if that was like net code between those 2. But there was definitely contact with Clampett and Kean. But I think what really set off that spin from Kean is Burrows was running up on these 2 as Kean and Logan made contact, and Burrows.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of wheel contact there, because it looked like Kean slowed down a lot more for that turn than he was planning to do so, and it just caught Burrows off guard and he couldn't brake in time. Yeah, it looks like the gap has been about the same since that incident occurred, as I don't think Burrows has really gotten much of that time back. And I'm sure with the spin, it probably did a little number on his tires as well.
Definitely.
Actually, Kean is staying in it with Chris for the most part, even with no rear wing. So despite the damage that Kean has, he might be able to salvage at least a 4th place finish here tonight, if not potentially 3rd.
Take a look at the field as Clampett takes the 2 to go mark. Of course, it's Clampett up front, Burrows in 2nd, Christopher Weil in 3rd, Kean M. Rallick in 4th. Jackson Menchu has retained 5th place. Liam Sheen has made himself into 6th by the looks of it. Trey Shuttlesworth in the 119 trying to fend off the 33. Aaron Galloway, who's in 8th. William Schmidt in 9th. Joe Burgee also snuck up in 10th place. Garrett Hess now retaining 11th. Ryan Kwan has had a quiet day. Haven't really talked about him in 12th place. Nick Roten in 13th. Corey H. Hart's in 14th as he's trying to fend off that number 27 to Cade McKee in 15th. And last on the lead lap, at number 189 of Colton Lights.
Looks like somebody's gained on Kean and Chris. I think Jackson Menchu might be gaining some time on Kean there coming into this turn. There he is.
There's Kean. That might be a lap car.
Yeah, you're right. That might be a lapped car. My mistake. But I think Kian is gaining some time on Chris, though.
That's
Yeah,
Sir
it's the
Tajman.
49.
Kian is slowly sneaking up. Might steal a podium here in this final lap.
Which is all the more impressive considering he lost his rear wing when he got hit by the 162 of Burrows. So,
Right.
I mean, I'm sure Kian definitely had a podium car, but it'll be even more impressive if he does so without a big chunk of his car. As we're coming up here on the white flag at Okayama with Logan Clampett ending up in the lead after that incident with Burrows and Kian, as we are now on the white flag lap and Clampett can pretty much just sail smoothly right up to the end.
Getting himself through. The gap is at 2.6 seconds between himself and Burrows. Christopher Wheel has retained third place, but Kian is trying to make a last lap charge to get that podium position. Jackson Menchu's in fifth, Liam Sheen's in sixth, and Shuttlesworth, Aaron Galloway, Joe Burgee, and William Schmidt round out the rest of the top 10. All eyes are on Clampett now as he works himself through. I think this is corner number 4. It is. Take a look at some fights going on. I don't even know what kind of.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. I don't even know what the heck I said there, but Burgee and Schmidt are going at each other right now. Looks like Aaron Galloway and Corey Charts. Oh, actually, no. The 33 just made himself out on the racetrack. Might have had a penalty there. Clampett. Final time into turn 8. Working the uphill into turn number 9.
That was a really good race, even
Definitely.
though the ending maybe wasn't what we would have wanted to have happen, but that was still a pretty entertaining 20 laps to watch. And out of the last turn, the iSCAR's representative in the Coca-Cola Series, Logan Clampett, will take the W here tonight at the Okayama International Circuit. So congratulations to him and his whole team on a hard-earned victory here tonight.
Anthony Burrows comes in second. Christopher Wheel comes in third. Keen M. Raleigh spinning across the start-finish line. Got a couple battles going on throughout. Joe Burgee's trying to hold off William Schmidt. All
That's
eyes
for
are on.
8th.
Yep, this is for 8th. Looks like the gap has grown to at least more than a second now. So that battle is distinguished. Joe's going to take 8th over Schmidt. We're seeing some more drivers cross the start-finish line. Garrett Hess is going to be in 10th. Brian Kwan also there in this battle as well. 48 Charge trying to fend off the 33 of Aaron Galloway, who's definitely fallen off of where he just was. But Galloway is going to come up in 13th place, and Cade McKee now scooting himself through, as well as Colton Lights still in the middle portion of the racetrack. Congratulations to Logan Clampett in that number 44. We'll be right back right after this as all these drivers cross the start-finish line and finish it out here at Okayama. Welcome everybody back here live here for the iSCAR Open Wheel Tour. Just rounding ourselves out of this first round, and on top of it is Logan Clampett in that number 44. We're gonna go ahead and drag him into the booth here in just a moment. Once I do find this interview panel, there it is. Ta-da! All right, we'll go ahead. Oh, actually, he's not in the waiting room.
There's nobody in the waiting room.
There's nobody in the waiting room.
Wow, alright.
Alright, we'll drag in somebody.
Well, Logan did good. That's what you need to know.
Okay,
we got Charlie and Jackson, so we can drag one of those two guys in, I guess.
Yep, Jackson, he finished all the way in 9th place. So we'll go ahead and drag in that number 9, Jackson Menchu, into the booth. Menchu, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Hey, man, you were on an island of your own there during that final portion, but definitely a
First
solid
off,
race here for you.
Yeah. Okay, first off, I want you to make sure, did you see my anime car?
Yeah, I'm taking a look at it right now.
Were you happy about that? Like, did you like that?
Yeah, I'm not going to comment about it, but, you know.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, that's the most important question. Like, so you tend to interview me like last night. Now
Yeah.
it's time for me to interview you. Did you like that anime car?
Yeah.
I
you
plead
did?
the
Okay,
fifth.
that's good. Okay, so how was your perspective of the race today?
Looked pretty good until that contact there up front, but, you know.
Oh, well, what do you think happened? Like, what was your perspective on that wreck for the lead?
They made contact for the win. That's all.
Is that all? Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I expect a little bit more from a commentator, but you know, it happens. You feel me?
I'm trying not to be biased.
Okay. So how was your race today, Keyboy?
We commentated.
Oh wait, you guys commentated. Sorry. Okay. Well, interview me. My
Okay,
turn.
yeah. Okay, Jackson mentioned
Well,
you started
how was
10th.
your car?
Yeah,
How was
you
my
started
car?
10th and finished 5th, dude. You had to make
Yeah, I
yourself
did.
to that top 5. How was that?
I mean, I just you just pass people. Like I go from 10th, then I go up to 9th, then I go up to 8th, 7th, 6th, and then I
Who
end
did
up
you
in
have to
5th,
pass?
You know? I don't
That's
know.
crazy.
I don't know.
Probably a 9th through 5th, probably.
Wow, that's
guess.
crazy. I never
Guess
would have
yourself.
known that, Jackson.
I would guess.
Well,
Alright, well,
congratulations to Jackson Menchu for
Did
this
you
5th
have
place
fun?
run. He definitely had fun considering he finished in the top 5. Probably doesn't have any sponsor to thank.
I want to thank 408 Racing, MSTV, everyone besides Ezekiel Reyes and Dewey Schramm.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, Jackson
Either way,
Menchu in the
thank
number
you,
9.
Thank you for your patronage in tonight's race. Hope to see you back again for the rest of this
Yes.
weekend. You know.
Don't
And
worry, I'll win
good.
another one by the end of this week.
Okay.
Yeah, do gooder.
Alright, we'll drag in one of our top 3 into the booth, and that would be the number 162 of Anthony Burrows. Burrows, man, you're in that huge dogfight for the lead with Kian and Logan, and unfortunately a bit of contact just separated you guys. What happened there off of your visor?
It kind of looked like Clampett ran Kian a bit wide going into that corner, but I looked back on the replay. It was a bit of net code, so that's always unfortunate when that happened. But yeah, nonetheless, that was a fantastic race. Us 3 up there for the win. Yeah, it kind of sucks it ended that way, but Clampett was probably the quickest one that race, and he came out on top.
Definitely a great race, man. Speaking of course, this is open set. How was your car out there?
I think it was pretty good. There's not really a whole lot you can do to set these cars up. I think we were kind of all on the same setup for the most part. But yeah, overall, I think it handled pretty well. The set I was on at the beginning was a bit tight, but adjusted it just enough to get it turning a bit better. And that's kind of what helped me fight for the win today. But yeah, great race though.
And 10 for Anthony Burrows going to round himself out in second after starting up top. Before we let you go, any sponsors you want to thank you for tonight?
Big shout out to you for putting on the broadcast, and shout out to my team Nexus Esports.
And 10 for Anthony Burrows in the 162, going to find himself in second place after the first round at Okayama. We'll go ahead and see you coming to your next race, man.
Yep, thank you.
Want to take the 4th place interview, or I mean 3rd place, Christopher,
Sure.
and drag him in.
All right, Chris, got a copy?
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Fine.
We're doing pretty good up here. You did pretty good tonight as well. You got started 5th, finished 3rd. Did you think you had anything for those top 3 guys at any point in the race, or do you think they just were miles ahead of everyone else?
Oh, they were miles ahead of everyone else. I knew in qualifying I missed it a little because I just suck on cold tires. But you know, there's no reason I even deserved third. Kian deserved it, and I even debated letting him by near the end, but I figured that's not what a racing driver would do, so I capitalized on the scenario and just took it from him, basically.
Well, definitely an improvement on what happened with you last night in the race at Daytona, as that did not, of course, end the way you would have wanted it to. But, of course, we did have open setup for this race tonight, so what'd you do to your car, and how do you think it handled?
The car handled okay. I'm not really that great with the skip to begin with. I really just ran the VRS setup because I'm not a setup builder, so whatever they make, I assume is going to be better than whatever I can do. But regarding yesterday, like, I had a shot at the win and I just took myself out with some silly mistakes, so I tried to focus a little more today and not make those same mistakes.
Well, you did a pretty good job at focusing, as you ended up with a podium finish. Before we let you go, any sponsors you want to thank here for tonight?
I want to thank 408 Racing and Dario for being an awesome team leader.
All right, Christopher Weil, your third place finisher here tonight at Okayama. Hope to see you back for the rest of this weekend and for the rest of the summer series.
Yeah, have a good one.
Yep. Christopher Wheel in the 41, and we're going ahead dragging one more person into the booth, and that would be the 62 Kian M. Rally. And Kian, you were one of the three in that dogfight for that lead, but unfortunately a bit of contact with you heading up into, I think it was turn number 6, spun you around. What you see out of your windshield, and could you have done anything?
I saw another race car out of my windshield, which honestly was not the plan because I came in here hauling ass and I wanted to win this race, but I got leveled because of great game design. But, you know, really it just comes down to the fact that there was contact there, but really it shouldn't have played out the way it did. But, you know, up until that point, it was incredible. I've never really had something happen that was quite that fun, to be honest. It was great.
Yeah, definitely, and you had the car to, you had the set to be up there toward that top, toward that top 3, excuse me. How was your car there tonight?
The car was stupendous. We had no air pressure in the tires. We had no fuel. We were as light as a feather. We were floating like an apple and stinging like a bee. I'll tell you that much. We were hauling ass. We're gonna haul ass next week too. We're gonna win.
All right, man. 10-4. Kian M. Rally is gonna round himself out here in 4th place after starting himself in 3rd. Before I let you go, bud, any sponsor want to thank here for tonight?
No, I don't have sponsors. I'm poor.
Oh no. Well, guys, a bit of shout out to that number 62.
Change that.
Yeah. Shout out to the 62, Kian. We'll go ahead and pick you up one.
Alright, I appreciate you guys. Thanks. Have a good one.
You too.
Same to you.
It's Kian M. Rally.
Yes, we need to sponsor this man. He deserves it.
He definitely deserves it. He drove one heck of a race out there, and, you know, unfortunately, stuff happens. That iRacing, you know, net coding, all that sorts of crap, unfortunately, just kills the racing. But, what you think about tonight's race, otherwise than that?
Well, more evidence to support your wants of a new surface model, but that's another conversation for another day. But overall, though, this is a pretty entertaining race to watch, as you mentioned, as they were coming across the line. As that top 3 battle was one of the fiercest I think I've ever seen in an iSCAR race. That was something else. And unfortunately, it didn't quite end the way I'm sure anybody wanted it to, but still a spectacle to watch. And I'm glad at least one of those top 3 guys ended up taking the checkered flag.
Definitely, and with that said, we end off this broadcast on a high note. Logan Clampett taking the victory here tonight at Okayama Circuit. And until next time for the iSCAR Open Wheel Tour, gonna come at you next week, I think at Sebring, but here in Japan, we're signing out. My name is Zeke Reyes.
And I'm Dewey Schramm. Thanks for tuning in here tonight, and be sure to come back tomorrow night as the Street Stock Series will run its first race at USA.
Thank you all for watching. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.